Hey, Thomas.
Hey, Jake. What's going on?
How you doing?
Can't complain.
Can't complain. Always love to hear that.
It's my day off. Feeling pretty good.
That's good. Oh, dude, I got into work. It would have been 2 days ago now, and I was like, I have the next 2 days off. Our schedule ends on Sunday, So I go to look at the next schedule. Turns out I had 4 days off in a row. So I am digging this days off thing.
That's pretty good. You got to make that money though.
Yeah.
Don't never forget that.
I mean, yeah, but
Got to stack that paper.
Stack that paper. So I got a quick question for you.
Shoot.
Did you watch Survivor last night?
Jake, I had some advance notice in this episode that someone was really blindsided heading into the final
it's a good
challenge.
One. It's a real good one.
So I really thought hard about watching it because it's from what I'd heard, it was pretty good. And
it's a good episode.
Yeah. Well, so to answer your question, I did watch Survivor last night.
You did?
Yeah.
You did?
Thought I'd blindside you on this one.
Oh man, that's a new school move right there.
Yep, that's what I was thinking. I was like, that's a real new school move.
Oh man,
we've been
talking on the phone for like 20 minutes and you didn't even mention it.
Broke our goddamn alliance. I blindsided you.
Oh man. Well, if you watched it, then we don't even have to record this. You know what happened.
No, but I want to talk about it with you.
Okay.
I just think, and the other thing I will say, because we've already hit we've hit almost all of the things that are like the motifs of this season, the very forced narratives. I feel like I'm giving Survivor a second chance by watching it, Because I gave it the first chance when we were watching. Was it One World that I watched with you?
I think One World, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I gave it a first chance there, giving it a second chance. And I will say, I think that the main reason I wanted to watch this is because I like the premise a lot of me not watching it, but I think if I don't watch it, this podcast turns into a lot of you talking, which I'm fine with, but it just ends up being like a recap, and we don't actually get into anything really. And I also think, I generally, after watching this episode, I have the same pretty general impressions of people that I had before, but this at least leaves room for me to have different opinions, whereas I kind of have to agree with you if you're the one explaining it to me. So I thought I'd just, shake up the dynamic a little bit.
That was exciting. I was not expecting you to say that you had. I was in my head preparing the next thing to say, and I had to stop the train.
I know.
That was so great.
I was planning on doing this at some point, but just when I'd heard that this episode was particularly good, I was like, this will probably be the one to jump in on. I kind of want to see what happens.
Yeah. That's so exciting. My biggest question for you,
yes.
What do you think of Joe?
Okay, Joe does not look the way that I imagined him. I didn't think he would.
Oh, no.
No, I'm not even saying that in a bad way. Because I had
How did you imagine him?
I had like a Disney Prince ideal of Joe. But he's like...
How does Joe not look like a Disney Prince?
I mean, he's like he's hot in that like hosier, like guy with a man bun kind of way.
Oh, yeah. That look is very popular.
Yeah,
right now.
like he's got like that rugged, like he looks very... very at home in a Survivor setting. It seems like that's where he should be.
Oh, yeah.
But,
yes.
So, I mean, I wasn't disappointed. I will say, the entire first couple scenes, I was like, where's Joe? Where is he?
Which one of them is Joe?
Give him to me. But I don't know. There's some hot dudes on this season. You got him. You got Jeremy. You got Woo. Like, this is a good season for handsome dudes.
Yeah. guess so, but I think a lot of them also are from the older seasons, so they're all like 50 plus, so they're not as hot.
Yeah, they're less
like
hot.
in a normal season, it's like 18 super hot people and then like 2 older people, and you're just like, oh, everybody's so hot. And this one, it's a little different.
Yeah, so
I guess the older dudes were the hot guys in their seasons, but now it's 15 years later.
Dumb old people, and they can go die.
They're dumb and old and slow and are bad at challenges.
So we don't want to throw the whole format out. I assume you have some notes.
Yeah.
I purposely didn't take any because I just kind of wanted to see what you were going to throw at me, and then I can react to it. But
well, I think a lot of this show also is for people who didn't watch Survivor, like listening to our show. So yeah, we should recap it for them too.
Yeah, we still want to go with general recap. I just think I'm going to be a little more engaged now.
Yeah. Engaged like Boston Rob and Amber, after All Stars.
Sure.
Did you watch Survivor All Stars?
Yeah, I went back and watched all of Survivor All Stars.
You had a busy week.
I mean, look, I was going a little Survivor crazy. Once the dam broke, it was just anything goes.
I know. It's hard to not. Yeah, so let's just get into it. This episode's called A Snake in the Grass, which we will get to.
I like, by the way, as soon as the episode started, they showed a snake. Real deep metaphorical significance to that.
There was one a few years ago, or a few seasons ago, where they showed a spider in its web, preying on a bug it had caught. And at the same time, they had interspersed it with somebody planting a seed for a vote that basically being a spider, being a predator.
That's some solid editing
and
right
using
there.
It really was, yeah. It was. I mean, you jokingly said what a metaphor, but they can do it. They don't always do it, but they can. There's no metaphor for the baby monkeys. Those are just baby monkeys.
Oh, yeah, they had one of those this episode.
Yeah. Of course. Of course, they always do.
They also had, a pretty scary-looking spider at one point.
They always have a really scary spider. I don't mention it because I know how afraid of spiders you are.
I almost stopped. That almost put an end to my Survivor watching career. I was like, ugh.
Nope.
No, I like spiders.
I love Halloween,
spiders,
but this is too close.
Spiders are my friends. If it were a skeleton, I would have run away. But
skeletons are
can
spooky.
chill in my room as long as they're not too scary.
Yeah, I think I'm cool with spiders for the most part, unless they're crawling on me.
Yeah, as long as
I don't know what you're about to do.
Yeah, because it's not that I don't. It's not that I think a spider has inherently malicious intent towards me. I just think once they're on me, they're probably pretty freaked out because they're on a giant thing.
Yeah.
So, can't trust how they're going to react.
Giant thing that smells like food.
Yeah, they're not going to... Because I think they know they can't kill me. They're just like, I need to get away. Maybe I can stun him by biting him.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. So for the most part, spiders are cool. That's all I got to say about that.
I am pro-spider. I will say that right now. Tom Powell.
Yeah, because they keep the bugs out of your house.
Yeah, they keep all the bugs I don't like. Keep them out.
Yeah. You want to get into the episode?
Let's do this shit.
All right. So we come back. Angkor just survived another tribal council, and Wu thanks Abby for not voting him out.
That's really got to hurt to have to thank Abby for anything.
I know.
She was in rare form this episode, by the way.
I don't understand how she has made it this far. She's been so involved in this season so far that I think she's gonna make it to the end.
I shudder to think about that.
Because she's gonna make it to the merge, and then no one will vote her out because everyone hates her, and she won't get any votes in the final tribal council. So they're just gonna use her as as a shield and be like, oh well, it's gonna be Abby, Spencer, or me. So it's gonna be between Spencer and me.
It does.
So
I could see her getting voted out because Tasha says at one point in this episode, like, strategically, I don't know if that's the right move, but, like, I can't fucking deal with her anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I wrote that quote down. Where was that? Oh, Jesus. Okay. We'll get to it later. I can't find the quote right now.
I'm getting a little ahead of myself here.
The later on, the thing that happens with Angkor is ridiculous.
Yep.
Fucking Abby. Ugh.
This is. Would you say that this was this? Well, no. We'll get into it when we get there.
Okay. So, Tasha and Andrew are congratulating themselves on surviving 2 tribal councils, even though they're part of the minority tribe, original tribe. And then we head over to Bayan, the red tribe. Which, did you notice they're more of a pinkish purple than red?
Do they give these people red clothes to wear? That's what I was like. Do they just give them color-coded shit? Because I was like, it would be too convenient if everybody just happened. Maybe when they told you to come, they're like, just make sure that you pack green, red, and yellow clothing.
Yeah, I think they do. They don't do it super often. I don't think they did it this season. But I know on, like, Spencer's original season, the Brains Beauty Brawn, it was like green, blue, and red or whatever the colors were. And everybody on each tribe had a set of clothing that had those colors. And I think that's why Spencer's still wearing green this season, because he was green in his original season. But like once they swap tribes or merge or something, then it doesn't really matter. But they're all still wearing their colors.
Yeah.
I think if all of Bayan was wearing red, it was just a coincidence for this season, because it doesn't seem like that's happening. Because it's really dumb when they do it.
Yeah, it is.
I think they got a lot of flack for that.
It seemed like everybody on Angkor had yellow shit, though.
Did they? I didn't notice.
Wait, no, Tasha had like a green shirt on.
Yeah, Tasha was also green. Tasha and Spencer were both on the Brains tribe in that season. And Cass was on their team, too.
The really tragic thing, I think, about Angkor is that I really like everybody on that tribe except Abby.
Yeah. That's the thing with the entire season.
Tasha's great.
I like everybody except for Abby.
Wu is my favorite person. For
Wu is so great. Yeah. I think he'll make it through a while. He might have a little more trouble once he gets to the merge because he is a physical threat.
Yes.
But yeah, he's such a nice guy. So we go over to Bayan, excuse me, the Red Tribe. Monica, Kimmy, and Kelly Wigglesworth are collecting crabs, and one of them calls them gatherers, which is a weird thing to say.
You got hunters and gatherers,
Yeah.
You know that?
I guess. Yeah, but who's hunting then?
I got nothing.
It's just like a really weird, unnecessary, old-school, sexist thing to say.
Well, I mean, they're women. They couldn't hunt. That's
true.
That's for the men folk to do.
The men folk to build hammocks? I don't know what the equivalent is.
Why aren't they making some sandwiches out of that crab meat from the crab that they got?
Mm-hmm. Oh, God, yeah. And then Monica throws this fit because she doesn't want to collect all the big clams, so there will be more later. And Kimmy's like, no, let's collect all of them now and actually eat. Doesn't that make more sense?
I kind of understood where Monica was coming from with that. Like, I at least got what she was going for with that, which is like, I think Kimmy took it as her being like we're going to deplete the, like, I think she thought she meant it in like an environmental, like, we need to protect this part of the environment, but Monica meant like, we could be here for the rest of the game, like, for a long time for this game, potentially, and, like, if we eat all of the food here, it might not refill as quickly as we would want it to, so we might want to be a little more careful rationing, but, like, even then, you have, like, you have, like, a fucking boat. Just, like, go out further if you really need to.
Well, yeah, but nobody trains themselves to fish before getting on the show. Like, they teach themselves how to make fire and maybe make a shelter. Nobody has ever bothered to learn how to fish before coming out on the show. So that's kind of a lost cause.
Yeah. I mean, well, and the thing is, like, I just, with those giant clams, I don't think that there's just going to immediately be more giant clams that move in. Like,
I don't know, they kind of implied that it replenished on a pretty regular basis.
I think Kimmy said that, and I don't know that Kimmy seems like a person that would actually know that.
Okay, I guess that's fair, but, I mean, she's been there for a few days, so she might have caught on to some things. I don't know.
I don't know.
We're getting caught up on the least interesting part of the episode.
No, but this ends up being an important conversation, so, like, I think that's more why I was willing to devote some time to it.
That is true. That is true. Yes, at one point, Kimmy mentions that Monica is wearing her patience and self-control, so that's great. And then we get to the challenge. Reward challenge. Woo! You don't sound excited about the challenge.
I'm kind of excited to make fun of it, because they fucking played skee-ball. Like, I literally, when I saw that, I was like, oh god, they're playing skee-ball!
Yes, so 3 of the members of the tribe will push a barrel, and then the 4th tribe member is inside the barrel. I have to stop every so often, grab a bag that holds some balls, and then just go play skee-ball at the end of the track.
I thought it was...
I have to get...
I thought it was like I thought it was a pretty brilliant strategic move, by the way, because when you roll the barrels up, you have to stand up on it, and then you have to unroll a rope at the top that's on like a little pole to get the balls to drop down. I thought it was a really brilliant strategic move by Bayan to have their shortest goddamn player be the one that has to unroll the rope that's wrapped around this thing, because she couldn't do it. She was like standing on her tiptoes.
She just couldn't, yeah.
So like,
yeah,
they kind of lost based on that.
Oh yeah, Probst throwing shade. I'm losing a lot of time by putting Monica in the barrel.
Probst was like going in on them during that challenge. I think it would be really off-putting to be doing one of those challenges and hearing Jeff Probst do like a running commentary of what's happening.
Yeah.
But doesn't he say something where he's like taking their time like at like a Sunday church picnic?
He says Monica is very slow, like it's a Sunday picnic at the church.
Yep. I was like, damn.
Oh, yeah, that was so good. So Takeo comes in first. Keith wins it for him. Angor comes in second. Wu wins it for them. And Bayan loses. So they don't get whatever the reward was.
Bayan was it food? I thought it was impressive that Bayan almost made it back into that, because Jeremy was...
Joe is on Bayan.
Or not Bayan.
Or was it Jeremy?
No, it was Jeremy. Like, because they had Jeremy doing the skee-ball portion of it, and he was doing awfully. Like, just really, really badly. Spencer tagged in on it and hit like 4 in a row, and it was like, oh my god, they might win this. And then he just kind of tapered off after that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really exciting. So we go over to Takeo. They're the Green Tribe. They got like a feast with drinks and food and everything. And Cass, Cass, the super social, fun player that she is, she's like, I'm pretending there's rum in it, so I might get a little wild in a bit.
Oh, boy.
Cass, she's so fun.
What a fun gal.
She's not someone I want to murder. And then they talk about the merge, which doesn't happen this episode, but I feel like it's going to happen a lot sooner than people expect. Sierra mentions a strong 5, and Joe, being very confident, says he's the biggest threat, so he's trying to get as many people as possible to be on his side. The 5 that Sierra mentions are Sierra, Cass, Kelly with an E, Keith, who has not been in this season nearly enough.
No, Keith is great.
Joe, this has been the first episode where he's like in the episode at all.
Keith has been too busy off screen spitting a lot.
Yeah. They
Oh, also, I
Producers
want
have said
to
that-
say, by the way, while the five of them are talking, really, really brilliant move by Dietz to just go off fishing on his own. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that
I'm
was.
not going to try to make alliances with any of these people. I'm
Well,
on Joe's
he's an
team.
old
He's my
school
meal
player.
ticket.
That's old school, not new school. You know, got a second chance to.
But I just thought it was funny, the
Get
dichotomy
voted out.
between, they just kept cutting back to him just like face down in the water, and then they'd cut back and be like, so it's definitely us five, nobody else, just us. I can't think of a single other person I would want in this alliance.
Oh yeah, Keith. Looking back on his first season, he's all excited that he's in this alliance, this top 5 alliance. Talking about his first season, I never hooked up with nobody. He never made an alliance or anything, and he got super far, so that's exciting for him.
Maybe you should be worried about hooking up with people now. That was my thought. I was like, you did pretty well last time. I don't know that you want to change that template.
But he didn't win.
That's true.
Yeah. Spencer was saying that this game is all about changing your game to fit a winning game. I don't know exactly what he said, but something like that.
They're really pushing that pretty hard with Spencer, it seems like. He's getting a lot of time with that.
Well, I became aware of something called... They talked about it on the AV Club a lot with Mike Holloway, the guy who won last season, getting the winner's edit, where they play up this character a lot and like make him look like the good person and like a really strategic player, a really good player. And I think that's what they're doing with Spencer this time, because he's getting a lot of airtime for someone who's not getting voted out.
So you think that maybe Spencer's going to be the one that wins?
I think he might be, just based on the editing, yeah.
Well, I mean, he did catch that fish.
He did catch a fish. That's hard to do.
Steven, I also read the AV Club recap, and in the comments somebody had linked to some tweets that Steven had a tweet about that where he was like ladies catch a crab, nothing. Spencer catches a gup, or Spencer catches a minnow, like London Symphony Orchestra.
Yeah, basically.
I will say, by the way, I kind of like Steven.
Yeah, he's not bad. He just hasn't done anything
maybe
yet.
I see a little bit of myself in him. he actually kind of seems like he's like strategically. It seems like he's playing it pretty well.
Yeah, he's not rustling too many feathers yet, which is a really good move this early in the game. Yeah, we'll see how it plays out.
He did fuck up really bad in their challenge.
Oh my god, yeah, we'll get to that. I'm kind of upset you watched it because I wanted to get your reaction when I told you that happened. We'll get to it. So we're at Bayan. Spencer and Jeremy go out fishing. Spencer mentions that he wants to make them a force because it's really powerful to have 2 people together in a game. Although Jeremy's trying to use Fishback, so it's a whole thing.
It also does kind of seem like Jeremy and Fishback are also secretly kind of using Spencer in it.
Very possibly.
They're, like, really super aligned with him.
I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell because they keep winning, so they don't really have episodes dedicated to them like Anchor would.
That's about to change.
Yeah, we'll get to it. My favorite thing about their little fishing trip was that they didn't really have a boat. They just had like a big basket and some paddles. Did you notice
Watching
that?
them try to paddle was hilarious. Where they're like, "How do we do this?"
And Spencer, see, this is another reason I think Spencer's gonna, if not win, at least make it to Final Tribal Council. He says that when he was watching the show growing up, he felt too nerdy to be the Survivor Golden Boy, like that Joe would be, or any other player. But now he's living it. And then we get to this terrible segment at the Angkor Tribe.
Ooh.
Oh my god. Okay, so Wu is telling this story about his mom and how he's using his mom as inspiration this time around because before coming on this season, she died of a heart attack. And that's so sad. But
yeah, she had a really bad heart attack, and they needed to get a donor almost immediately. And didn't they got a donor, but she died before they could actually complete the heart transplant? I think that's what happened.
It was a very upsetting story.
That's really sad. He was being very vulnerable.
Yeah, and then of course, Abby, does what you're supposed to do in that situation. Talks about how she feels bad for them and everything, or feels bad for him. And then later goes off and talks to Tasha, is talking shit about Wu to Tasha in the woods. And it's like, why would he do that? Why would he use this story as a strategic play, trying to get sympathy from you guys?
I just think it's a little low for him to be doing this as a sympathy play. And Tasha for a split second is really pissed, and then just has to transition to yeah, I know.
Yeah,
crazy, right?
What a crazy thing. We have to spend a month and a half with these people. God forbid they open up to us. So Abby, it's a fucking contest, mentions that she lost her grandma and her aunt, and is just annoyed by Wu for losing his mom.
And also she has someone else's ligament.
She had a knee transplant.
Was she adopted too?
So you had emotional abuse in your life? Well, no, but I was adopted. Not the same thing. I would rewatch that season with this same podcast format with you, but God, it's just so bad. It's so the good parts of it basically the good parts of it are what I've already mentioned about the being adopted thing. And the rest is just terrible.
It's not worth getting to that.
It's really not.
In the moment, it was a brief respite from a terrible season.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when Tasha says, it takes everything in me to work with Abby. In Emerge, it's going to be 2 times as hard. So now it's time for the immunity challenge. Woo, woo, woo.
That's what I was saying, because I was rooting for Wu.
Good. Wu is actually... Well, Wu's parents were big Ric Flair fans. That's why they named him Wu.
They were big fans of all of the Four Horsemen, really.
Yeah.
That's why his middle name is Arn.
So at the immunity challenge... we have to run up a tower and then fire a slingshot at 5 targets. Fairly simple challenge. This was another try. This is a thing they're doing. They're bringing back old challenges and then letting us know where the challenge is from.
Both challenges, Jeff was like, now this person has already done this challenge, so they're going to get a second chance at this one. And he pulled that shit twice.
Yeah. No, that's happened pretty much every episode. I just haven't mentioned it because I didn't think it was important. But yeah, Joe had this challenge last season, and his tribe lost. So, second chance. So of course, Joe is the first one up to shoot with his slingshot, and he hits his first shot because he's a golden boy.
Perfect man.
And then Steven is up there firing for his tribe, and misfires and hits one of Angkor's targets. Angkor, the tribe he is not on.
Really hard to hit someone else's target too, I will say. Abby tried real hard. She just didn't have the arm strength, I think, to really hit anyone else's. Was
it Abby or Monica? I think it was one of them who would fire, and it would just kind of fall in front of the slingshot. I
think that was Monica.
Yeah, that was really upsetting to watch. I'm not a fan of Monica at all, but I felt so bad for her.
You just are incapable of doing this. It's not It's just never going to happen.
Yeah. So Angkor takes first. Wu wins it for him, and then Takeo took second. So they also get immunity. Keith won immunity for Takeo, so that's really exciting. Oh, also, okay, so
People
Keith,
like winning. I like that.
Yeah. Keith is 54 years old. You know Keith. He's got a big mustache, big gray mustache.
Oh, I know Keith.
Kind of surly looking. Andrew on Angkor. It's like very tall, has nice hair, very svelte. He's 51.
Really?
Yeah. I found that surprising.
Thought he was a little younger.
Yeah, I would have assumed he was like 40, maybe 45.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he's 51.
Looking good, Andrew.
Yeah, right? So, we go back to Bayon because they lost. And they're discussing who to vote out.
Also, Monica is not worried about going to Tribal Council. She thinks it's good to go to Tribal Council.
Yeah, it's good because tribe unity or something.
You get closer, I guess. It brings you closer together.
Sure. Whatever. So Jeremy goes to Monica and Steven. Gun to your head, Kelly. And they're both like, yeah, sounds good. Spencer is checking in constantly.
Spencer is so worried and no one's going to vote for him. He's like, Well,
yeah, because he thinks he's on the bottom. And he should think that because he is. There's the original Bayon 4. And then Spencer and Kelly Wigglesworth, who are 2. So it's really easy to get those 2 out. They all have this connection. And they have more people than Spencer and Kelly. So,
my favorite of the Bayon 4 is Hurley. Although, I'm...
Good joke. So Spencer's checking in constantly to make sure that he's all good. But then he's like, a good Survivor player looks cool and confident before going into a vote. Okay, well, that's fine. Monica mentions that she wants to keep Kelly around to start a girls' alliance. And that's when the shit goes down.
Well, she, way jumped the gun on that, and she did it with someone that she should not have done it with. Like, Kimmy does not like her.
When Monica first mentioned the girls' alliance last episode, I was like, oh, yeah, there's probably more girls than guys in their tribe. No, it's 3-3. So why are you bringing it up right now? It doesn't make strategic sense.
It was really bad. It was a bad move.
So that's when we get our episode title. Kimmy calls Monica a snake in the grass. Episode title right there. So then Kimmy goes over to Jeremy and Steven with the idea to blindside Monica. I wrote here, I think, you might have picked up on it. You don't watch the show regularly, so maybe you didn't. They're so good at editing this show, and just pacing it. When they're trying to decide who to vote for, I don't think there's a scene that's more than 10 or 15 seconds long. They're just jumping from person to person, and they're playing this music that really gets your heart racing.
It was very tense.
Oh man, who's gonna? Yeah, it really was. And I mean, obviously, it was all. It's all a formula and everything, but they do a good job of it.
No, the entire time I did think this is a very well edited show. Even though I do think the challenge things are fucking hilarious, where they're overhead shot, smash cut to barrel,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like they have to get an overhead shot at least once so you can see the scale of the challenge.
The smash cut to the barrel was my favorite part of it, where it's just close up on barrel.
So before we get into Tribal Council, you want to talk about the wildlife shots?
Sure. We mentioned there was another baby monkey.
Of course, as there always is.
There's a snake at the beginning of it. There was a kind of a scary spider on a tree. What was there anything else that you noticed in particular? Anything else?
Yeah, early on in the episode, there was an owl and a mouse.
Yes.
I don't know if the owl was eating the mouse or if they just both appeared. I didn't write that down. And then there was an eagle. I think that was everything I took notes on.
Sounds about right to me.
Yeah. Solid wildlife shots, nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah,
no gnats, which was cool.
B+.
No bats, which was weird.
We'll give them a B+ on those wildlife shots.
B+, yeah. Didn't make any, didn't take any risks, but not bad.
They executed. That's really all you can ask.
Yeah. So at Tribal Council, we're like so far into the game, it's kind of surprising that some people still need to light a torch for themselves because they just haven't been to Tribal Council yet. Steven gets into Tribal Council and mentions that this is a game based on trust, which is a really good thing to say because it's directed at Monica, but Monica doesn't realize it's directed to Monica.
Monica has no fucking idea what is about to come down here.
I love Tribal Councils when there are two things happening and one of the people doesn't know that this other thing is happening. So Jeff is like trying to maneuver through this conversation.
Also, it definitely seemed like Jeff knew what was up, right?
Well, of course he does. Of course, they're like the producers will go back to him. I'm sure he watches in his little studio.
He was
hotel room.
The hell out of Monica.
Yeah. Spencer feels like the tribe is strong. Kimmy mentions that the Bion 10 is still very cohesive, which Monaco's on the Bion 10. So, a little
bit of misdirection there.
Well, yeah, way to play the game. Stephen mentions again, we have to build real bonds for real alliances. That's nice.
I like they were talking about strategy, and I liked what Steven said where he thought strategy comes from emotion to a certain extent, where it kind of dictates how you strategize, so I thought that was kind of an interesting little contribution.
I guess so. I mean, Spencer didn't play with any emotions in his first season, and he got pretty far, so who knows what Steven's talking about. So then they go to vote, and Spencer votes for Kelly Wigglesworth, who was on the first season of Survivor. And he says,
he mentions, by the way, I know you invented the phrase "I'm not here to make friends."
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, I loved that so much. So then we go to vote, Jeff Probst reads the votes. He goes Kelly, Spencer, Kelly, and it's like, oh, okay, it's just these two. They didn't go through with it.
Yeah, everything's normal. Kelly starts to get worried.
Mm-hmm. And then
I guess maybe you notice she starts to get worried because she's fucking a rock. She's completely expressionless for the most part.
Yeah. And then the next three votes, Monica. That's enough.
That first Monica vote, the look on her face.
She's like, wait, what? Oh, man, it was so good. So well played.
Also, the fact that Kimmy, was trying not to make eye contact with her the entire time, but then kind of, looked over at the end after it was done and was like,
yeah, we did it. So Monica leaves, and Jeff Probst says to the tribe, if there was any question whether this tribe was playing old school or new school, this blindside really put that to rest. Like, they never blindsided people in the old school?
Never. This is the first time this has ever happened.
Yeah. Sometimes his little quips at the end are not great. I wonder if they rate these things for him before Tribal Council, or if they will wait and be like, okay, let's come up with something and then film it. I don't know, but yeah, it's a good vote, good episode. Honestly, the episode
I was thoroughly entertained.
Yeah, the episode by itself wasn't that great. Like if Angkor had ended up losing and they just voted off the next person in that tribe, it would have been a really boring episode. But the fact that they pulled off a really good blindside made it a great episode.
Nope.
Yeah.
So apparently next week we might be something's going down next week. Is there going to be a medical evaluation? Do you think, or something like that?
Yeah. They mentioned that. I don't know why they released it on Wikipedia already. Who is getting evacuated, and what else happens on the episode, which is a really weird thing to do because it hasn't aired yet.
Yeah, that's kind of a big spoiler. I did like, by the way, in the next on thing, Jeff Probst just being like, "Hey, it's Probst."
Yeah.
Like that's the last thing that you see is just Jeff Probst being like, "Yo, what's up? It's me, Jeff Probst."
It's Probst. Yeah. So that should be good. I hate when people get medically evacuated. It's just really sad for everyone, and then
it's a bummer. It's not really anything you did.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's the episode. How'd you like it? Did you enjoy watching it?
I did. I think I will be watching for next week. So.
Since you've been gone, I feel my life slipping away. I look to the sky.